24 days and I will be 50. Um, if you didn't know, I am documenting certain things that I choose to talk about that have happened over my life leading up to my 50th birthday. So, today I chose to talk about grief. Um, I've experienced different types of grief in my life. Um, a couple of the hardest things that I've experienced as it relates to grief was, of course, when my dad died. My dad died in 2013. Um, and at the time, I thought that was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. And it was. Another form of grief I've dealt with, the loss of friends, certain friends. I've dealt with, because I'm, of course, divorced, I've dealt with all of the losses and grief that comes along when you're no longer married to someone, because it isn't just um, the loss of being married to them, it's also the loss of everything connected to the marriage, which could be friendships, which, family, um, anything that was attached to marriage. And one thing I would like to say about grief is no one can really tell you how long or how short your period of grief is. But one thing that is true is you have to go through it, because if you don't, you still will. I mean, so you just have to let it happen, because grief comes in stages. And as someone told me, it comes in waves, and it does. But if even if you know somebody is grieving, don't try to tell them how to grieve. The only thing that you can do for them is to be there. You know, check in on them. Sometimes people just need to be quiet. They need to get through it themselves. Sometimes they have moments where they need to talk about it. They just really need someone to understand that they are going through, not understand what they're going through, because they won't always tell you, but just understand that they are going through, because those are big changes in your life, whether it be that you lost a person, because they've lost their life, or whether you've lost a person because they're no longer in your life. um, it makes a big impact on you, your life, who you are, the decisions you make going forward, um, all of the things. My favorite phrase, all of the things. um, and you're never the same. And when I say never the same, that's not a good or bad thing. um, Loss and grief changes you. It changes you in different ways, ways that you probably would never expect. But the goal is that even when things change you, you, I don't want to say allow those changes to work out for the best. I can't say, because, loss, even when it changes you, it doesn't change you good or bad. It just changes you. Life is just different. Um, it's just different. So, all of that to say, um, grief is real. There are stages of grief. Um, you deny it, you get angry. Um, I don't know if resentment is an actual one, but you do go through a time of depression. And then you get to that point where you accept it. And acceptance doesn't mean that doesn't mean that you pretend that it didn't happen. You just accept life as it is going forward. And that's okay. Because when you accept something, it doesn't mean you like it. You just accept it and you move forward. Um, and that's with anything in life. When you go through things, you get to a point of acceptance, and then you give the rest to God. He'll do what he has to do with your tears, with the crumbs, with whatever it is. And I'm gonna always relate everything back to God, because hunty, without him there would be no me. So anyway, Thank you. If you've been listening to my little crazy videos or watching my crazy little videos, because I've gotten your messages, your text, and say that you like them or what you don't like. I appreciate it because this honestly is not my forte. It is not my comfort zone, but I will say I'm actually liking it a little bit. So, um, anywho, if you are going through any bouts of grief, if you have um, hats off to you. Um, be encouraged because it's not easy. Nothing about loss or um, grief is easy. So I just pray strength and encouragement to anyone that's going through anything, whether it's grief, whether it's depression, anxiety, because I'm a mental health survivor because I've dealt with depression most of my life. So if you're going through any of the above, my heart goes out to you because none of that is easy. And sometimes the only people that understand are the people that have actually gone through something similar. So, anywho, thanks for being with me on my journey, Road to 50, and hashtag life after. So,